School watching movie screens that spike your self-esteem. The new James Bond gonna be black as me. Black as brown hazelnut, cinnamon, black tea. And it's all beautiful to me. Call your brothers magnificent, call all the sisters queens. We all on the same team, blues and pyrus, no colors ain't a thing.
The society favors lighter skin more than dark skin. Light skin privilege. Colorism. Lighter skin continues to be brought in the light while darker skin is left in the dark. Light is right? Specifically in the black community, we choose to have such disdain for someone based off the pigment of their skin in our very own community. But what is colorism exactly? The defined term is prejudice or discrimination against someone of a darker skin tone, predominantly in the same racial or ethnic group. Now, does that even sound rational at all? People feel inclined to discriminate against someone in their very own community based off the pigment of their skin. The pigment of their skin, something so simple. In many occasions, darker skin complexions are more discriminated against than lighter skin complexion. Have you ever heard on social media someone saying team light skin or team dark skin? That is colorism. Many people in the black community may say, we are all black. No matter if we're light or dark, we are all black. We will always be oppressed and we will always suffer from institutionalized racism. But believe it or not, although we are all black, there is institutionalized colorism. And we may be all seen as black, but lighter skin will always be chosen. You have to know the origin of colorism, right?
I'm with this complexion. Two-step.
Colorism in the United States rooted from guess where? Slavery, what a surprise. Colorism has been built in our society and the birth of our country. As Sarah L. Webb said, and I quote, "Colorism is the result of white supremacist ideology. Social hierarchies based on nationality, religion, class, gender, education, race, and color have existed for millenniums. This is not new." In slavery, slave owners gave privileges and preferential treatment to slaves of a lighter complexion because they more closely resembled what they looked like, European. Lighter-skinned slaves worked indoors and participated in domestic tasks like cooking or cleaning the master's house and taking care of their children, while darker slaves worked long hours outside picking crops such as cotton. Light skin became an advantage in the slave community, much like the black community today. As Taylor J. Matthews stated, the negative stereotypes associated with blackness and the value placed on lightness of skin by whites became widely accepted by the slaves. Female slaves with light skin in particular were considered to be gentler, kinder, more attractive, smarter, and more delicate, much like today. The closer you look to white and European, the more advantages you had. See how this history became reality now. Black people always tend to complain and rant about the terrors of slavery and that we were treated so bad, and we were, but yet they continue to act on the repetition of this history. They continue to do it because someone's a little darker than them, or someone's the same complexion but just looks a little different. But pause, this still doesn't mean that blacks weren't all seen as black, constantly dehumanized. Remember, the Constitution did say that we were 3/5 of a person. This history rubbed off onto our society today, especially in the black community. History does repeat itself. Nevertheless, as Jenna Graham said in her article from EliteDaily.com, while we are all underprivileged, it would be irresponsible to deny that certain groups within the black community are more disadvantaged than others. Light-skinned individuals in the black community receive this special acknowledgement and privilege that they fully accept with no hesitation. People in the black community discriminate dark complexion people, not even knowing where it originated. Not even knowing that this type of ideology has set our people so far back. European facial features or white facial features were sought out after as beautiful. The slimmer nose, the colored eyes, and the long, glowy, straight hair were seen as beautiful, which transcended onto lighter skinned people or biracial people. The slimmer nose, the curly mixed hair, and the hazel colored eyes are seen as beautiful in the black community. This is what is displayed on our media. And how do you think females who are of darker skin tone and who don't have these facial features feel? Inadequate, inept, ugly, which is completely false. Although, according to Taylor J. Matthews in her article, The Relationship Between Skin Complexion and Social Outcomes, How Colorism Affects the Lives of African American Women, physicality is a predominant facet that affects how others view an individual, which I mean is pretty known. You see somebody on the street and you automatically have a perception of what they are like and what they seem like. In other words, attractiveness is important. Having a light complexion is considered an indication of desirability and a sign of beauty. The media is infamous for only showing this part of African American women. In many commercials, the closest you will see to a black woman is the lightest hue. Don't get me wrong, any black woman being displayed on the media is a win for the black community, but our darker sisters aren't even getting any time. Many black female celebrities that are not just one-hit wonders and succeed are lighter-skinned women. This is not because darker-skinned women lack talent. This is because they don't get any recognition or any time of the day because of their skin tone. I have a question for you. Do you think celebrities like Beyonce, Chris Brown, Rihanna, Alicia Keys would get as much recognition and media time if they were darker? No, I don't think so. I'm not discrediting their hard work or talent, but I'm saying that lighter-skinned people do get more favored in the media. It was even seen and announced a decade ago when L'Oreal had Beyonce on an ad and they lightened her skin tone. It is obvious that lighter skin sells.
Discrimination based on your skin color that they were like,
well, absolutely, absolutely. I come from an era where, you know, it wasn't always having, I want to say, having slanted eyes and being pecan tan and having all of this bushy hair wasn't always the in thing. Like now, everybody wants to have slanted eyes. They're drawing them on. They're buying bushy hair by the pound, you know. So now it's definitely the in thing. It wasn't always the in thing because you were not, I wasn't the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice girl, nor was I the slim, light-skinned girl. You had to work twice as hard in order to be noticed, in order to be good. So yeah, definitely seen that. And was I hurt at first? Absolutely. Yeah. Being a child at the time, because I started making, I was 14 years old. Right. So you already have this certain way that, you know, things are told to you, like maybe lighter is brighter and lighter is better and she's prettier, or if she's darker, she's stronger, you know. And so, of course, to have them go and decide that, okay, well, if you're going to be Roxanne, there's no way that they're going to want Roxanne is going to have this long, bushy ponytail.
We're going to make a lighter version.
Yeah, we're going to make a lighter version to make it more believable.
In addition, in many music videos, specifically rappers, you predominantly see lighter-skinned black females, Latinas, and white women.
I wanna know race. Hey, what up, little mama? It's your boy Young.
The exotic look appeals to media. Rarely do you ever see darker females brought in the spotlight. Literally. This coincides with relationships, specifically with black men. According to Naja Kareem Niddle in her article, Discrimination in America, she stated, because fair skin is associated with beauty and status, light-skinned women are more likely to be married than darker-skinned black women. According to some reports, we find that lighter skin shade, as measured by survey interviewers, is associated with about 15% greater probability of marriage for young black women, said researchers who conducted a study called Shedding Light on Marriage. Many black men in our society marry lighter-skinned women more than darker-skinned women. While interracial couples are beautiful, it saddens me that darker-skinned women don't get the same appreciation and love from the own men in their own community. On many occasions, darker-skinned men or black men see darker-skinned women as non-feminine, manly, not even being able to compare to lighter-skinned women, or just angry black women. Have you ever heard that stereotype?
I'm an average dude because I don't see myself no better than him, no better than him. If he could say that he likes skinny women, if he prefers skinny women more than a more chubby or heavyset women, he could say that and nobody won't get mad at him. I just said I don't like women with my complexion. I like light-skinned women. I want you to be lighter than me. I love African-American women, but I just don't like my skin complexion.
Truth be told, it's hard to compare the two. A person can change their weight aside from getting a tan, though you're born in the skin you're in. Either way, that's not all Kodak had to say.
We too gutter. Black people, my complexion, we too gutter. Light skinned women, they more sensitive, you know?
Some dark skinned women out here sensitive.
No, they too tough. They too tough. Light skinned women, we could break them down more easy, you know what I'm saying?
Having a preference is fine and completely normal, as everyone probably has a preference on who they are attracted to, but bashing another person for something they can't control is crazy and ignorant. All women in the black community, no matter the hue of their skin, should be exposed to the same amount of love, although a person is solely judged on their appearance and not their character. Name?
Tremaine the Goat Davis.
My name is Quentin Lee. Oh, Cleo Johnson.
What is your skin tone preference in females?
It doesn't really matter. Any kind doesn't matter.
I have no preference.
Which one is more attractive to you?
I gotta say Diera. Diera is more attractive to me because she's pretty. That's it.
Attractive to you?
They're both attractive.
Diera.
Out of all the girls that you've ever talked to and attracted to and dated, what was the majority skin tone?
They've all been of black descent except for one.
I did talk to a bunch of Latina girls. Cause I guess you could say your complexion or a little bit lighter. That's I talked to those girls. One was white, one was light skin.
Do you think that colorism is affecting our society and dark skin versus light skin, colorism in females, and how?
Because they're always downing people, like what I posted and Jemiah said. They've always just been too negative towards black people.
They're not getting treated how other people would get treated in case of color. Yeah, and black males too, because girls are I prefer light skins over dark skins. That kind of pisses me off. It's dark skins are good too.
We now return to your regular programming.
Not only does colorism affect women, but it also affects men as well. And not only does it affect darker skinned people, but it does affect lighter skinned people. According to Naja Kareem Niddle in her article, Discrimination in America, job advertisements from the 20th century have revealed that African Americans with light skin clearly believed their coloring would make them more palatable as job candidates. Writer Brent Staples discovered this while searching the archives of newspapers near the Pennsylvania town where he grew up. He noticed that in the 1940s, black job seekers often identified themselves as light-skinned. They did it to improve their chances and to reassure white employers who found darker skin unpleasant or believed that their customers would. In many cases, lighter-skinned women and men have an advantage in real-life situations, just like how white people have advantages. In many court cases, if a lighter-skinned woman was going against a darker-skinned woman, the lighter-skinned woman will win over the darker-skinned woman, even if her case was inadequate. Why is this? Ignorance. Accuracy in the truth isn't valued, but color is. So lighter-skinned men and women have a higher chance of receiving a job than a darker-skinned woman or man. The world is backwards and is not in favor of difference. Colorism does also affect lighter-skinned individuals as well. They are often faced with the question, what are you mixed with? Or, you aren't even black enough. How can being light-skinned affect if you are black enough? The answer is, it doesn't, and this is just ignorance. With black men, colorism exists as well. Over the years, many black women have scouted or looked for lighter-skinned men because they wanted pretty children. Or they just thought darker men were ugly. Also, lighter-skinned men were seen as soft, and darker-skinned men were seen as militant and hard. Not only is this colorism, but this is damaging to men's manlyhood. This takes me into the hardcore effects of colorism. As I've stated previously, physicality is held very highly when dealing with a human being in our society. And what does colorism have to do with? Physicality! Colorism does not only affect the black community, but it does affect other communities such as the Asian community and Hispanic community. In India, the popular entertainment industry, Bollywood, you rarely ever see darker-skinned Indians in these films. ये भी न जानो बजने लगे क्यों खुशियां हैं
मेरे पिया मेरे रंगते गुलाल की लगा रंग जो तेरा हुई मैं कमाल की.
Lighter skin is glorified and darker skin is not really seen in the media there as well. This occurs in other Asian countries such as China. In China, one's skin tone is an indicator of their economic and social status. With this, many Chinese women hold umbrellas when there isn't even a drizzle of rain, just to guard themselves from the sun. This is so they avoid getting darker. Colorism still carries the same sickness in America as it does in other countries as well. Skin whitening creams are a big market in other countries such as India, Japan, and China more than it is in the USA. Although skin bleaching is still a big epidemic in the United States. Mind you, skin bleaching does horror for your skin, such as skin cancer, although colorism has done excessive damage to African American women. According to Taylor J. Matthews in her article, The Relationship Between Skin Complexion and Social Outcomes, How Colorism Affects the Lives of African American Women, she stated, historical research indicates African Americans with lighter skin tones have fewer societal barriers not only in white America or interracially, but among African Americans themselves. While the association of skin complexions affect both men and women of African American descent, but has been more thoroughly suggested that these biases lead to greater harm for African American women. Skin tone and color can negatively influence the mental state and self-perceptions of African American women, beginning as early as preschool years.
How about you? Why do you want that skin color?
Because it looks lighter than this kind, because this looks a lot like that one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I just don't like the way brown looks, because the way brown looks really nasty for some reason, but I don't know what reason. That's all.
African American women began hating the skin they are in, the skin they can't change at such a young age. With these thoughts, black women have resorted to using skin bleaching creams, perming their hair to stop their natural curl pattern, and try as hard to get away from what they can't change. I interviewed 6 beautiful black girls to see how colorism has affected them.
If you could change your skin color, would you, and what would it be, and why?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
No, I would not change my skin tone now.
Just because that my mom raised me to be comfortable in the skin that I'm in, and I wouldn't change that for the world.
My family, we've kind of grown up to feel that type of way. My parents have always told me to be proud of who I am and to really show that and not feel bad about it.
Do you think colorism is affecting our society and black females today?
Yes, I do, because a lot of guys tend to talk down on women that are brown skin or dark skinned. So
yeah, just like Talia said, a lot of guys say that light skins are better and the lighter is better, and they don't appreciate dark skins.
Yes, I think in the past it was such a looked down upon thing that it negatively impacted us as people, but now women are starting to realize our true potential, and not only just as women but as black women. So it really has had a now positive impact on us.
I do, because there's a lot of things that you see on media and people who just say some disrespectful, ignorant things about how dark skin this, dark skin that. And
have you ever faced any colorism?
Not really, kinda, not really. Sometimes you can really see it and it happens, and sometimes you'll notice it if you're in the store and there are just people watching you more closely than they'd watch other people.
I mean when I was in elementary school, I guess people were making jokes about how dark I was and stuff like that. So.
When you were younger, did you want to change your skin tone at all?
When I was younger, I did want to change my skin color because I always felt that being dark the way I am, I'm not dark, but I always thought that
I should be lighter because it was an expectation for people?
Yes, I think I recall wanting to be light-skinned at one point just because there weren't many like dark-skinned actresses on TV. There weren't many dark-skinned role models for me to follow, minus my mom. So it really just kind of, the representation wasn't there, so I felt misled or misguided.
I wanted to be lighter, like just like all the other girls, like have their hair like super straight and stuff.
As a light skin, do you think you receive privileges that darker women don't receive?
Yes. But like a lot of girls think that we like, it's not like we can help it.
I don't necessarily experience stuff like that, so I wouldn't really know, but I do see a lot of hate towards darker girls, like on social media and stuff.
We now return to your regular programming.
Colorism is a huge issue in our society today. As a people, we need to stop ignoring the issue, acting as if it's not a problem, and do something about it firsthand. And as a community, we need to stop letting this issue ruin the beauty of the Black community. Nevertheless, we are continuing to evolve. Darker skinned women are receiving more important roles and getting the recognition they deserve, such as Viola Davis in How to Get Away with Murder and Kerry Washington in Scandal. The Black community is realizing that batching the people that make up the community is doing no good and just hurting us. No matter the color of your skin, light or dark, you are beautiful and should not be judged and discriminated against over something you can't control, such as the color. I call BS to colorism. It's time we accept everyone for who they are, and it's time we stop letting someone's appearance affect our views. It's time we make a difference.
And since a man can't make one, he has no right to tell a woman when and where to create one. So will the real men get up? I know you're fed up, ladies.